are gerbils the right pets for you? This was actually requested by Coda North, so thank you for the request. I'm not going to go over the top with this video, but I'm just going to tell you briefly what kind of pets they are, some little things that you probably should know about them, and overall how good they are as pets and things like that. So as you guys all know, I've got two gerbils, Chip and Tea. They're both awake at the minute, but they're hiding from the camera, I think. So first of all, gerbils are extremely energetic. They're really great pets to have. I absolutely love gerbils. And at the time when I got the gerbils, I was originally supposed to get a hamster, but to be honest, if the choice was between a hamster and a gerbil now, I would go for a gerbil any day. I absolutely love them. They're really easy to look after, but it depends on how you look at it. They're definitely not pets for young children or it's very young children, not at all, but older children maybe, mostly young adults onwards. I wouldn't recommend them to children at all. People might think they're small pets that are easy to look after, and they're not. They really need the time and that you need to be careful with them and things like that. So they're definitely not good for younger children. But gerbils actually originated from China, and they are desert animals, which you probably know, but it has its positives because they're desert animals. One good thing is that because they're desert animals, they don't drink and eat an awful lot. Obviously, you still need to make sure you're giving them fresh water every day and fresh food and the right amount of food. But because they don't drink an awful lot, they don't pee an awful lot either. So they... Hello, Chip. Their cage never smells. I've never had a problem with smell in their cage. Unlike hamsters, where they can get quite smelly sometimes, especially the females when they're on heat. Gerbils, so I've got two male gerbils, and I've never had a problem with smell. They are really clean pets, and not just because they don't pee very often. They're just generally quite clean pets. So another thing is that gerbils might get mistaken for hamsters, and they're not. There's similarities, but they're quite different to hamsters. They need a lot of different things. All their toys need to be natural and chewable because they will chew through anything, and it's not worth risking their hygiene and well-being and health in giving them plastic toys. There's just no point. I have plastic toys for mine, but I always put them in their run and supervise them. That's the only way I'd give them plastic toys. In their cage, they're nothing but natural wooden rope toys, things like that. And gerbils cannot live in a hamster cage either. They can live in gerbilarium, which is what my two live in, and if you put in a lot of effort, they can also live in a bin cage, which mine also did. But if you do make a bin cage for them, that's your decision. You need to really put effort in because it needs to have somewhere for them to dig. It needs somewhere for them to be able to eat their food without any shavings or bedding getting into it. They need levels because they like climbing. The plastic needs to be really thick and rounded, and it needs to be a really good height so that they can't chew out of it, and it has to have good ventilation and things like that. So it's probably best just to go for a gerbilarium. I don't think I'd have ever made a bin cage that good without my dad's help, so luckily he made that for me, but I ended up getting a gerbilarium towards the end anyway. But they did really like that cage. But generally they're really great pets to have. One thing, they're really easy to tame as well. They're quite tame anyway, but they are quite easy to tame. And once they get used to your smell, they don't really mind. With one reason why they can't be pets for young children, one important reason is that a defense system gerbils have is actually, if they're threatened and something picks them up by the tail, their tail will instinctively, it'll drop off. And it's not a good thing to happen. It shouldn't happen with pet gerbils. It's just a defense system, so it's kind of the last minute life-saving thing. So children tend to pick things up and squeeze things and pick things up by the tail. I remember when I was younger, one of my friend's little sisters actually picked up one of the gerbils by the tail and its tail fell off, and it's not the best thing to happen to them, but obviously in the wild it's a defense system, but it should never happen with pets, so never pick them up by the tail. I think that's quite cruel anyway. so I would never do it anyway, but just as a little warning. Yeah, another thing, gerbils can never be alone. Unlike hamsters, again, they can never be put in a cage alone. They need a partner. 2 or more gerbils is fine. Generally 2 gerbils work better together because there's no chance of them fighting and things like that. 1 gerbil should never get 1 gerbil on its own. 2 gerbils or more is perfectly fine. And if you see your gerbils fighting, you can tell the difference between play fighting and real fighting. If at the end of the fight, one of them is grooming the other one, that means it's a play fight, and whoever's grooming who is the winner of the play fight. It's just like a brotherly kind of play fight, and they tend to do it quite a lot. Because gerbils are quite energetic as well, you need to make sure that they're getting more exercise than their cage. So this is what I was talking about with them being quite high maintenance in terms of things like this. You need to spend quite a lot of time with them. They're not nocturnal, and they have short naps throughout the day and night instead of having one long sleep. So they're generally awake quite a lot of the time, which is a good thing for obviously older children, young adults, because you want to spend a lot of time with your pets. They can't go in hamster balls, definite no-no, because of ventilation in case their tails get trapped into the little holes that you see in hamster balls, and it would frighten them as well. They're not pets that should go in hamster balls. But as I was saying about exercise, they really do need to be given exercise. They need to be let out of the cage quite a few times, because it's not fair for them. For one, they can't be stuck in a cage all the time, and they're extremely energetic pets that need to let off their energy and things like that. So you can do that by having maybe an extra cage, cheap cage. You could use a bin cage. If you've got a tall one, you don't have to have a lid on it, and obviously if they're having exercise anyway, you can supervise them. You can also use a bathtub and maybe a room that's gerbil proof, but of course you'd have to supervise them at all times. Gerbils can jump and climb, so they will escape, and they will try to if they want to, but as long as you're there supervising them, then it's fine. And I would recommend giving them at least 15 to 20 minutes of exercise outside of the cage a day. And overall, they're quite easy pets. I've kind of covered most things briefly, but I didn't want to go too much into detail because it's not a care video. It's just a video on if a gerbil's the right pet for you. So, like I said, maybe for older children, and that would be, high school age. Definitely not for younger children, but it's a definite great pet for young adults and things like that. They're really great pets. I really enjoy having them. Like I said at the beginning, if I was to choose over a hamster and a gerbil, I would choose a gerbil any day, because they're so playful and they're so excited all the time, and they want to play with you as well, which I really like. If you've got a gerbil proof room and you sit with them, they want to play with you, and it's really nice to do that. They're really intelligent as well, and you can teach them tricks and things like that. They're really quite clever animals, and they need a lot of time from you, so time is a big thing. And you need to be giving them the usual things like you do with other pets, like fresh water every day, things like that. But generally, they're really great pets, and I absolutely love having gerbils, and I know that other people love having their gerbils too. They're really, really nice pets to have, and they're so friendly and just nice pets. So I hope that this video is useful. I know it's just me talking, and it might be quite a bit boring because the gerbils haven't come out that much. I'll see if one of them wants to come out. They're both awake, they're just being lazy. But generally, they're really great pets to have. So what I'm going to do is, at the end of this video, I'm just going to add a couple of slides with the type of bedding they should have, maybe the amount of time you clean them, how to clean them, things like that, to save me from talking on and it being a bit boring. So I hope you enjoyed this section, and I hope this whole video has been useful to you all, and hopefully if you're getting gerbils, then this has helped you. Thanks for watching.